Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers. Who's behind Lulu's ventilator failure and fatal close call? General Hospital, GH, spoilers reveal that Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens, recently faced a scary situation at GH, where she crashed after her ventilator mysteriously failed. Isaiah Gennon, Sawandi Wilson, thankfully stepped up and saved Lulu with Elizabeth Baldwin's, Rebecca Hurst, help, but it was definitely a close call. Lulu is on a new ventilator now, but questions remain about what happened to her old one. It seems like more than just a simple case of equipment failure. So who messed with Lulu's ventilator and why? Some fans have grown worried about Isaiah turning out to be a villain in disguise. There's a theory floating around that Isaiah might have sabotaged Lulu's ventilator just so he could play the hero. However, that doesn't fit with what we've seen from Isaiah so far. Isaiah genuinely seems like one of the good guys, especially since Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson, thinks so highly of him. The show is finally giving Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper, a love interest she has loads of chemistry with, so it's tough to believe they'd make Isaiah some disturbed doc who creates problems just to solve them. Of course, Cyrus Renault, Jeff Kober, was spotted in Lulu's room shortly before this ventilator drama, so he'd be a far more likely suspect. Did Cyrus mess with Lulu's ventilator thanks to his own twisted motives? It's certainly possible that the gift Cyrus talked about giving Laura Collins, Jenny Francis, involved unburdening her from all her Lulu worries. Cyrus might have been trying to put Lulu out of her misery since he didn't have all the new donor match details. That said, there's also a chance that Cyrus is a red herring. Maybe GH writers just want fans to think Cyrus was to blame for Lulu's ventilator manipulation. We have another suspect to consider since we know Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rota, survived all the chaos in Somalia. The pilot who brought Lucky, Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, and Holly Sutton, Emma Sams, back to Port Charles was also eliminated before the plane was ransacked. It's clear that Sidwell wants his diamonds back and is no doubt looking for some revenge as well. Sidwell is becoming part of the story again, and we know he already had someone pose as an orderly in an attempt to wipe out Isaiah. What if Sidwell had a fake hospital employee mess with Lulu's ventilator too? Lulu was the whole reason that Lucky rescue mission even happened, so Sidwell might have made a vengeful move against her. Whether the culprit was Cyrus, one of Sidwell's men, or someone else, the truth behind Lulu's ventilator failure will be revealed sooner or later. In General Hospital, shocking twists are never in short supply, and the latest storyline surrounding Lulu Falconeri is no exception. The beloved character's condition, already precarious, takes a devastating turn when a mysterious failure with her ventilator pushes her closer to the brink of death. Her close family and friends are left reeling, but one burning question rises above the chaos. Who is responsible for Lulu's near-fatal medical emergency? As Dante Falconeri anxiously hovers by Lulu's side, his mind races through all the possible enemies who might want to harm her. Though Lulu has been in a coma for a long time, the stakes have never been higher. This sudden malfunction feels deliberate, calculated, even, and those closest to her will stop at nothing to get to the bottom of it. However, the web of deception and danger that surrounds Port Charles makes finding the true culprit a Herculean task. Dante's growing suspicion. For Dante, the fear of losing Lulu once again sends him spiraling into protective overdrive. Despite their complicated history, his love for her remains steadfast, and he is unwilling to stand idly by while her life is put in danger. The ventilator failure couldn't have been an accident. The hospital is renowned for its high standards, and such an oversight seems too coincidental. When Dent confronts the hospital staff, their responses are filled with concern, but ultimately lack substance. Every nurse and doctor assigned to Lulu's care claims ignorance about how her ventilator could have failed at such a critical time. Frustrated, Dent turns to his trusted friend and former partner, Sam McCall. As a seasoned private investigator, Sam's instincts kick in immediately, and she promises to help Dent find the truth, even if it means following some dangerous leads. Maxie's emotional turmoil. Maxie Jones, Lulu's best friend, is utterly devastated by the news. She had been holding on to hope that Lulu might wake up one day, but this close call feels like a sign that time is running out. Grief-stricken and terrified of losing her friend, Maxie is determined to stay by Lulu's bedside, refusing to leave even when the doctors reassure her that they've stabilized the situation for now. Maxie's guilt over moving on with her life without Lulu only intensifies as she processes the severity of the situation. She feels as if she's let her friend down, and the thought of Lulu never waking up becomes too much to bear. Maxie clings to every last shred of hope, but deep down, she knows that something isn't right. It's almost as if someone is deliberately trying to sabotage Lulu's chance at recovery. But why? And more importantly, who? Valentin's dark secret. Across town, Valentin Cassadine is wrestling with his own demons. Although his connection to Lulu has always been strained, their shared history through Charlotte keeps them tethered. Valentin has many enemies, and his long list of misdeeds could easily be tied to the recent attack on Lulu. However, he remains silent, not wanting to draw attention to himself, despite his growing anxiety that he knows more than he's letting on. Valentin's connection to Helena Cassadine and the Cassadine legacy of darkness lingers like a shadow over his every move. He worries that some old, buried secret could have been unearthed, and that Lulu might be collateral damage in a scheme far bigger than anyone realizes. As he watches Dent and Sam scramble to piece together the puzzle, Valentin remains conflicted. Should he step forward and share what he knows? Or would revealing his suspicions only make things worse? Helena's ghost lingers. Speaking of Helena Cassadine, the queen of all things sinister may be long dead, but her influence still reaches beyond the grave. It wouldn't be the first time Helena's machinations continued even after her supposed demise. Could this ventilator sabotage be part of one of her old revenge plots? Lulu was always a thorn in her side, and if Helena had some final ace up her sleeve, now would be the perfect time to play it. Dante grows more and more paranoid with each passing day. He can't shake the feeling that Helena's shadow looms large over the situation. Though the notorious villainess hasn't been heard from in years, everyone in Port Charles knows that when it comes to the Cassadines, death is rarely the end. Could Helena have left instructions for someone to ensure Lulu never wakes up? Olivia's fierce protection. Meanwhile, Olivia Falconeri is a force to be reckoned with. As Lulu's mother, she is fiercely protective of her daughter and refuses to let anyone come between them. Olivia's instincts tell her that the attack on Lulu's ventilator was no random accident, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to uncover the truth. She makes her way to Windermere to confront Nicholas Cassadine, who has also been suspiciously quiet in recent weeks. Olivia's not one to mince words, and she demands answers, suspecting that the Cassadines might have something to do with Lulu's brush with death. Nicholas, caught off guard, denies any involvement but promises to use his resources to help her find out what really happened. Liesel's expertise comes into play. On the medical front, Dr. Liesel Obrecht, one of the most brilliant and dangerous doctors in Port Charles, is called in to assess the ventilator situation. Her dark past and twisted alliances make her a wild card, But she's also one of the few people who could figure out if the malfunction was deliberate. Liesel's ability to walk the fine line between medical ethics and morally gray decisions gives her an edge. And as she begins her investigation, she starts to unearth disturbing details that point to foul play. The unlikely culprit. As all of these threads come together, Sam makes a breakthrough in the case. After days of digging, she uncovers surveillance footage from the hospital on the night of the ventilator failure. To everyone's shock, the footage reveals a hospital staff member tampering with the machine. But the most chilling part? The person in the footage isn't an enemy at all. It's a familiar face. Brad Cooper, the hospital lab technician with a checkered past, is the one responsible for the ventilator sabotage. He claims he was blackmailed into doing it, though the identity of his blackmailer remains a mystery. Could it be someone within the Cassadine family, or is there a deeper conspiracy at play? As the residents of Port Charles reel from this revelation, one thing is clear. The battle for Lulu's life is far from over. With enemies lurking in every shadow and secrets yet to be uncovered, Dent and his allies must act quickly before Lulu's fate is sealed for good.